We back in the Slice Studios. Welcome to the show, folks. Novak Djokovic has won his fourth Wimbledon, kind of out of nowhere, beating Kevin Anderson, the Eagle from South Africa, stopping his Cinderella run. So we're going to break down the finals of the men's and women's and see what the runs of the players meant and how this Wimbledon was so great. There was a lot of stuff that went down, and here's the slice on all the action. Welcome to the show, folks. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, and please consider supporting the Slice with $2 or $5 a month on patreon.com. You can click the link below, and that'll show you how to donate to the cause and get the Slice to be even better. Thank you. So, Novak Djokovic pulled it out and beat Kevin Anderson, like most people probably expected him to after Kevin Anderson played that brutal match against John Isner in the semifinals, going like 7 hours. And causing Nadal versus Djokovic, which was an unbelievable match, to be pushed back and played over 2 days because of the curfew rule at Wimbledon. Pretty crazy, tradition and rules that are at Wimbledon that don't really seem to be anywhere else in the tennis world. But great tennis at the final stages of this tournament, with obviously Anderson beating Isner in that crazy, semifinal match, and Djokovic beats Nadal in a close 5-setter again, with Djokovic just coming up in the big moments, playing his best tennis when he needed to, and beating Nadal. So the final set, and it was a little bit underwhelming for the first two sets, definitely. At least Anderson was not at his best level, and Djokovic was brutal. He was totally manipulating the game, and then it seemed like Anderson got a second wind. And some people maybe were like, wow, is Anderson going to come from 2 sets down to beat Djokovic? But he couldn't do it. Even though he had 5 set points in the third set, Anderson couldn't get over that line, even though he was playing a lot better, and Djokovic pinched it off and won his 4th Wimbledon, which is remarkable. It's unreal because, this whole year he's played not as great. Like, he was injured at the Australian Open, didn't play there, had a little surgery, came back too soon, as Brad Gilbert and Chris Fowler told me, and then he was underwhelming in Miami. And then through the clay court season, though, Djokovic seemed to get better and better and better. But it was still just like, oh, we'll see where his level's at. I made a video a while back called What is Wrong with Novak Djokovic? And it broke down what I heard him saying about himself, which was the mental side of the game was not there. But it is absolutely remarkable to see him come back at Wimbledon and play through the draw, which was definitely not an easy time for him. He had to play some pretty good players. He beat Kyle Edmund in the 4th round, and then Kei Nishikori in the quarterfinals, and then Rafael Nadal in the semifinals. Like, big match wins for him. But obviously he's done it before. He's beaten all those guys before, and the only way he could have done that is if he was playing similar to what he used to be playing at, which he was. And at Wimbledon, he really stepped into where he's, I would say, almost there, back to his best. One of the main things that Djokovic really did well in this tournament, which was one of the biggest things that he was lacking since his surgery, was serving really well. He served about 70% first serves in throughout the tournament, which is a super high number. I usually think that if you can get like above 60, you're putting yourself in a really good chance or position to win the match. He served about 70% first serves in, which is putting the opponent under such pressure and making him really hard to break, obviously. And he does use he's not the biggest server ever, but he's very accurate and uses that to place serves and really put opponents on the back foot, so it makes him hard to break. So that was really good. Because he's a great fast court player, obviously. He's a great mover on grass, and that's really what I saw in this Wimbledon that allowed him to just, especially beat Nadal in that close match. Because what does Djokovic do better than Nadal on clay? Other than, I'd say, like redirect pace, which is kind of like Djokovic's main thing. He can redirect the forehand and backhand, and when there's not as much reaction time on grass, and you can stand close to the baseline like Djokovic tends to do on grass, you can really do damage. But he's moving so well on grass, and that's movement's obviously always been movement, defense have been his biggest things, and that's the thing that I kind of saw him come through the Nadal that match with, just a bit better in that regards. Obviously, Nadal's the best mover on clay, but on grass, Djokovic is right up there with anyone, obviously, and that's what he came through, and then that was really shown even more against the Anderson match. So kudos to Djokovic and his team for coming back from a year's worth of kind of fallen form, or even more than that. Like, yeah, it was he stopped playing at the end of or around Wimbledon last year, but he hadn't been playing great. So more like a year and a half since then, or maybe even 2 years really, of like a drop in form since the French Open 2016. So absolutely great comeback. Novak Djokovic is one of the all-time greats, and he showed again today why. Because he's won 13 Grand Slams now. So Federer's 20, Nadal 17, and Novak Djokovic is 13. So he's obviously in the top. I would say I'm not really an expert on like the history of the tennis players and where those guys would rank, but I'm going to put him in the top 5 all time. Absolutely crazy. Also, Kevin Anderson was absolutely inspirational in this tournament. Beating Federer was obviously heartbreaking for Federer fans around the world, but it was unreal to see as well. Like, I don't know how he actually still did that. I'm still scratching my head. I don't know how Federer lost that match. He saves match point and he's pumping himself up, and then he just wins the set by breaking Federer with this like redirected backhand winner on a second serve, and then just starts to play big ball tennis and just going for everything and playing so well. I just remember watching that match and going, how is he still hitting these forehands like this? Isn't he getting tight? And like the end of the 5th set, playing the best tennis player of all time, especially at Wimbledon. Like, why isn't Anderson getting tight? But he just didn't, and he stayed mentally locked in and then ended up outlasting Federer, which was absolutely crazy. And then again, he did that against John Isner. Like, there was that one point, it was in the 5th set, I think, where Anderson fell, slipped, dropped his racket, and then as he stood back up, he used his left hand and just kind of did like a defensive shot back, but it was actually went deep and ends up winning that point. And I just watched, when I saw that, I was like, wow, this is something, we're watching something special here. I kind of thought he'd win the tournament after I saw that, honestly. I was like, he's got some magic dust on his hand or something like that. Ends up beating Isner and then just didn't have any energy really left for the Djokovic match. It took him like 2 sets to get his game going, like he said, and he couldn't get over the line. But it was absolutely inspirational to see Kevin Anderson, the Eagle. I'm calling him the Eagle because I guess I feel like he looks like an eagle, kind of. No other reason. But amazing to watch. And we can no longer sleep on Kevin Anderson, I don't think. He's getting that killer instinct. And I took him lightly against the Federer match, in the Federer matchup, which was still obviously a massive upset for him to win. So I wasn't putting Federer on upset alert, but obviously any player in the quarterfinals who's playing that good is going to be a tough component or opponent. But we can no longer sleep on Kevin Anderson. And at the U.S. Open, since he made it to the final last year, you got to put him pretty top. I'd say top 5 or 6 guys for favorites to win the tournament. But these are sweet things. So Djokovic winning means that he's fully back. And that's awesome for the American hardcourt swing and the U.S. Open and the rest of the year. Because we got Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic playing well again. And then all these other guys, it's just going to be better than last year. More exciting because last year it was like Federer and Nadal were the only guys really to watch after the Wimbledon. And then it was like, who else is going to step up? Because Djokovic was out, Murray was out. But, the third part of the big 3 is back, which is sick. So in the women's finals, Angelique Kerber stepped up and stopped Serena Williams' comeback run and Cinderella story to win Wimbledon again as a mother, which would have been absolutely nuts. Had to fight for a seeding to get seated at the Wimbledon, which is controversial. I don't know if her seating should be protected, but that's for you guys to debate in the comment section, like you do so well on all of my videos. But Angelique Kerber looked like a beast out there. It was moving so well, played very Djokovic-esque, running down everything and just being relentless, and wins 6-2, 6-2 to upset, Serena Williams. I would say it's an upset. I'm not really sure. But kudos to Angelique Kerber, a Wimbledon champion now, which is unreal. Unreal. So Wimbledon was amazing. I missed the second half of it because I was traveling, but I get that one reaction to the Federer video up. But it's my favorite tournament of the year, and I am planning to be there next year. Breaking news, I am trying to go to Wimbledon next year and a bunch of other tournaments, maybe even the French Open, the whole clay court swing. You never know. This is birthed in my goals here. So thanks for watching The Slice. This has been The Slice. Djokovic wins his 4th Wimbledon, 13th major. Big upsets, big sweet matches, and an amazing time. And that's it from The Slice for Wimbledon. Thank you for watching. Again, please hit that subscribe button. And the question of the day is, who would you put as the favorite right now to win the U.S. Open? Leave your comments in the section below, and please click that link to hit up the Patreon site where you can check out that space and where you can help support The Slice. But thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. The Slice has the best following in the world, and this is where it's at to become a tennis insider and to have your swag turned up on the court and off the court as a tennis fan. Thanks for watching, folks. This is The Slice. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and head to theslicetennis.com to read our recaps of the men's and women's final. We got great articles coming up there from Charles and Brendan.